What is up, you beautiful people? I am Tim Ruswick from Game Dev Underground, and today we're going to be talking about advertising in indie games. A lot of people say advertising is dead in indie games. I see a lot of people say advertising doesn't work. I see a lot of people say, Tim, I put $50 in Facebook and I got 3 downloads and it didn't work. Well, I am here to tell you whether or not advertising works in indie games. And rather than keep you in suspense, I'm going to give you a hint and I'm going to say, yes, it does. But I need to show you the right way to advertise games before I just tell you that, yes, advertising works. Because if you want to throw a bunch of money into advertising and you get subpar results, that's going to be your fault. And for me to tell you it works and then you to try it and it not work, we're going to have a very conflict of opinion there. So I need to show you how professionals, how actual advertising agencies, how marketing companies set up advertising and how it works. So here's the basic process. So I couldn't find an indie game right before the video, so I said, fuck it, let's use this Kickstarter ad. So this is actually a sponsored ad right here. Kickstarter is advertising, and if I click on this, they go to a landing page. Okay, and the landing page usually has one focus, but this one has a few more focuses. I'm not going to get this landing page. We're going to pretend that this is an ad for Heyday and that the Heyday ad went straight here. So if I'm running ads for my game, the ad's going to look like this. Someone's going to click on it, then they're going to go to a landing page. Okay, and the whole point of the landing page is to get them to click on one of these download buttons right here. So then they're going to click on Google Play. And they're going to download the game, hopefully, right? So here's why all these different steps are important. One, the ad is important because the ad is where you actually get the user's attention, you get them to take action. So that you buy clicks, basically. You buy interested users. Once you bought an interested user, then they see the page where you want them to take action. Now, you could run an ad directly to the Google Play Store, but these people may not have Android. They may have iOS. So that's kind of risky, right? Secondly, these pages are not set up to sell your game. This page is set up to sell the game. This page makes me want to play the game. It tells me why the game's awesome. It shows me screenshots. It shows me videos. And while this has the screenshots and the videos and all that, it is not actually designed to convince someone to sell the game. So this page, the whole purpose of a landing page is to design an experience that makes someone want to click one of these buttons. So let me tell you about a conversion rate real quick. If you don't know what a conversion rate is, essentially, conversion rate is the percentage of people that visit this page that click on your call to action. What that means is if 100 people see this page and 10% of them click a button, this page has a 10% conversion rate. Okay, now why is that important? Because you need to understand your numbers. So for example, if it costs you $1 per person on the ad, and you send 100 people to this page, and it's a 10% conversion rate, that means that it costs you $100 to acquire 10 customers. Okay? And here's where a lot of people fail. Or I'm sorry, downloads in this case, because this will be a free-to-play game, not customers. Now, what a lot of people make the mistake of doing is they say, hey, I'm going to run an ad. They run an ad to their website, and then a bunch of people see it, and they get a few downloads, and they don't ever do anything else besides that. They just ran a bunch of ads, and boom, that's it. You have to look at this whole thing as a process. This is step 1. This is step 2. This is step 3. And in this case, since this is not a paid game, step 4 is monetizing the user inside the app. Okay, so the monetization is really important. So let's work backwards from this. Let's say we've got Heyday open on our phone, and let's say one person out of every 100 people that download the game, they spend $50. Okay, so 100 downloads makes us $50 on average. That's ridiculously high for a mobile game. It's usually not going to be that high, but let's just use that example. So 100 people equals $50. So the question then becomes, How do we get 100 people to this page, or how do we get 100 people to click this button, right? Well, let's say this page has a 10% conversion rate, which means that 10% of people that see this page actually click this button and download the game. So that means to make $50, we've got to have 1,000 people view this page, right? So how do we get 1,000 people to view this page? Well, that means we got to run ads, and that means to be profitable. Let's look at the calculator because I'm not a math genius. What is it? $50 divided by 1,000. So that means we got to acquire a customer for less than 5 cents. This is the reason why advertising doesn't work, because it costs us. You're not going to be able to get a click for 5 cents. So in this case, if all of your numbers are what they are, it's not going to be profitable to run ads for this specific game. Now, here's where a lot of people quit. Some people may even go as far as to look at that whole process, but they just say, hey, it's not beneficial, so it's whatever. Well, let's say you're running ad. Let's say it costs you X amount of money to actually per click for this ad. You can actually create a copy of this page, and you can do this with like a tool like Unbounce or Lead Pages or any series of pages, and you can do what's called an A/B split test. And basically, you copy this page, you make one tweak to it, and then you test both pages. You test this page and the new version of the page, and you randomly show them to people. So then you end up with you'll end up with one page that converts better. So then you want to use that page and constantly test. And so the goal is to constantly improve the page. So you may start at a 1% conversion rate, but then with these split tests, over time, you increase the conversion rate, which means that you are getting better and better and better. These numbers are improving. So hopefully, if you're doing all this right, not only are you constantly improving the click-through rate, which is the amount of people that see the ad and click on it, but you're constantly improving the conversion rate, which is the amount of people that see this page and they click the download button, and you're constantly improving the your monetization metrics, which means you're improving how many people actually download. So that is a lot of work. It's a shit ton of work, and it's why most people don't actually go through all this work. But if you do all this right and you spend the time to actually go through all these numbers and you really think about this in a mechanical, mathematical way, this is possible, right? You just have to constantly work out the bugs in the monetization, constantly work out the bugs in the conversion, constantly work out the bugs in the click-through. When you do all of those things, you end up with a money-making machine. And here's what I mean by that. So if we get rid of these, I'll kind of draw it for you. My drawing's horrible, so don't judge me. But if you spend $1 and you put it into this machine, right? Let's see, here's a little robot. Yay. Then that robot makes you $2. So then you put those $2 in here and it goes to the machine, blah, blah, blah. That's what this is if you get these numbers right, right? So you pay for X amount of clicks equals X amount of downloads equals X amount of money. And if all those numbers are in order, let's say we could get clicks for 4 cents each, according to our calculations, then that means for every 1,000 people that we spend, 0.04 times 1,000, that means we can get 1,000 eyeballs for $40, right? So we spend $40, and our 1,000 eyeballs, actually be 2,000 eyeballs, 1,000 people. Our 1,000 people equal 100 downloads, and our 100 downloads equal one person spending $50. So that means we just turned $40 into $50. You see how all that works mathematically? And once you actually go through this process, once you get to this point, that's when you turn on the gas pedal. That's when you jam on the gas. That's when you dump as much money into this thing as you possibly can, because you just hit a gold mine. That's how these companies make millions of dollars. That's how these companies scale to infinity. That's how you get to a Clash of Clans size or a Heyday size or a like ridiculous fucking massive size by understanding these metrics and understanding how advertising works. Most people don't look at advertising this way. Most people dump a bunch of money into Facebook or Google and they say, oh, I put a bunch of money, I got a bunch of downloads, it didn't work. They're doing it wrong. This is the process on how you do it. I know this is complex. I know this is advanced stuff, right? I know this is not for the beginner, and it may take a second to get your head wrapped around it. But this is very important. If you understand this whole process, that's how you really, truly, 100% make money with games. But it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take, in a lot of cases, this can take more work than your game takes, and you got to be prepared for that. You got to spend time to learn the metrics. You got to do that stuff. And I won't go into any more specifics, but there is a lot of stuff that you can do to improve this process along the way, too, and get the most out of your buck. Like, real quick, this is super advanced stuff, but Facebook has something called a pixel, which you can copy and paste into your landing page, and then it tags every single person that you send to this page, and then you can remarket to them later. So, for example, this is a pixel that I have running right now that every person that visits a certain page of mine, Facebook knows who they are. It remembers them, and then I can run ads specifically to those people. So, for example, let's say you post a YouTube video or you post a tweet or something and someone goes to your page. The second they do that, Facebook knows who they are, and you can run an ad directly to them. So your targeting gets better, right? Because now these people know who you are, and the click-through rate improves because they've seen you before. And so this whole process kind of compounds on itself and gets better and better and better the more you work through these conversion rate numbers. Now, I know that was a shitload of content. I know I don't usually do videos like this with this much highly technical detail in marketing. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if this is something that you found useful. If it is, leave me a comment and a thumbs up because it'll help me understand whether or not you want more content like this. But once again, I'm Tim Ruswick, and I will see you guys next time.